The alarm woke Hannah from a deep sleep. Red lights flashed across her small room on Horizon Station. She jumped out of bed and grabbed her uniform. Something was wrong. "All senior staff to the command center," said Captain Lee over the speakers. His voice was calm, but Hannah knew him well enough to hear the tension. Hannah ran through the curved hallways of the station. Horizon was humanity's farthest outpost, orbiting a distant star 30 light-years from Earth. Only 12 people lived here, studying space far from home. When she reached the command center, everyone was already there. They stood around the main screen, faces pale in its blue light. "There," Captain Lee pointed. "It appeared 20 minutes ago." On the screen, a ship unlike any Hannah had ever seen moved toward the station. It was smooth and shiny, changing colors like oil on water. It didn't look human-made. "Is it?" Hannah couldn't finish the question. "Yes," said Captain Lee. "We think it's alien." After years of searching the stars for other life had found them instead. "It's slowing down," said Jin, the navigation officer. "It will reach us in about 1 hour." "Has it sent any messages?" asked Hannah. "Nothing we can understand," said Captain Lee. "Dr. Kim, you're our communications expert. I need you to try to talk to them." Hannah nodded. Her heart beat fast as she sat at her console. This was why she had studied languages and communication patterns. This moment. "I'll try different frequencies and formats," she said. She sent simple math patterns first, universal language. Then basic greetings in multiple Earth languages. For 30 minutes, nothing happened. Then her screen lit up with a response. "They're answering," she said. Everyone gathered around her station. The message contained simple mathematics, mirroring what she had sent. Then came something unexpected. Words in perfect Korean. "Greetings, humans of Horizon Station. We come in peace." "How do they know Korean?" asked Captain Lee. "They must have been watching us," said Hannah, "studying our transmissions." When the ship finally docked with Horizon Station, everyone waited by the airlock. Hannah stood at the front with Captain Lee. Her hands shook slightly. The airlock door opened with a hiss of air. In the opening stood a tall figure. The alien had a human-like shape. 2 arms, 2 legs, 1 head. But that's where the similarities ended. Its skin shimmered with colors that shifted like a living rainbow. It had no hair, and its face had large, silver eyes that reflected everything like mirrors. No nose, just small breathing holes. A thin line for a mouth. "Hello," said the alien in perfect Korean. "I am Ta of the Lumi people. I bring greetings from our world." Hannah stepped forward. "Welcome to Horizon Station. I am Dr. Hannah Kim, communications specialist. This is our captain, Lee." Tai tilted his head. "Your voice patterns indicate increased heart rate and breathing. Are you afraid?" Hannah blushed. "Yes. We've never met beings from another world before." "We have been watching your transmissions for many years," said Ta. "Your species is very expressive, very emotional. We find you fascinating." More Lumi aliens came through the airlock. There were 5 in total. They all looked similar to Tai, but with subtle differences in height and skin patterns. "We request cultural exchange," said Ta. "We wish to learn about humans directly, not just through signals." Captain Lee nodded. "We would be honored. This is a historic moment for our people." "Dr. Kim," said Captain Lee, "since you speak for us so well, I want you to be our main representative with the Lumi." Hannah's eyes widened. "Me?" "Yes. Show them around the station. Learn what you can. Report back to me." Tay's skin rippled with blue patterns. "This is acceptable." Dr. Kim's brain patterns show high intelligence and curiosity. "You can read my brain?" asked Hannah, alarmed. "Only surface patterns," said Ta. "Electrical activity. Emotions. We do not read thoughts." Over the next few days, Hannah showed Tai around the station. The Lumi were polite, but asked endless questions. They seemed most interested in human emotions. Your kind changes color when you feel strong emotion, said Tai, pointing to Hannah's cheeks when she blushed. Like us. It's not the same, said Hannah. We can't control it like you can. Fascinating, said Ta. His skin rippled with patterns that reminded Hannah of flowing water. One day, while showing Ta the hydroponics garden, he moved very close to her. Too close for comfort. Hannah stepped back. We humans need personal space. Tai tilted his head. Personal space. I do not understand. We don't stand too close to people we don't know well. It makes us uncomfortable. But how do you sense each other's energy fields from far away? We don't have energy fields like you do, explained Hannah. We communicate with words, expressions, and body language. So much is lost, said Ta. How do you truly know one another? We learn slowly, over time. Ta considered this. Then I wish to learn you slowly, Dr. Kim. You will teach me about humans. Something in the way he said it made Hannah's skin tingle. His silver eyes reflected her own curious face back at her. And you will teach me about the Lumi, she replied. Tae's skin flashed with gold patterns. It is agreed. You are now my human study subject. I am your Lumi subject. Hannah didn't know if she should be excited or worried. Either way, her life had just changed forever. 2 weeks after the Lumi arrived at Horizon Station, Hannah sat across from Tai in the mess hall. She tried to eat her breakfast as Tai watched her with silver eyes that never seemed to blink. Your eating process is inefficient, said Ta. His skin rippled with curious yellow patterns. Hannah put down her spoon. How do Lumi eat? We absorb nutrients through our skin from special baths, Tai explained. Much faster. No waste. That sounds convenient, said Hannah. She wondered what it would be like to never taste food again. Ta moved his chair closer until their knees almost touched. This happened often. No matter how many times Hannah explained personal space, Ta forgot within hours. You're too close again, Hannah said gently. Ta moved back slightly. I apologize. It is difficult to remember. For Lumi, closeness is natural. Distance means dislike or distrust. For humans, it's different. Closeness is for family, lovers, or close friends. With others, we keep distance. Then how do you feel my emotions? Asked Ta. Our skin patterns and energy fields need proximity to be sensed. We watch facial expressions, listen to voice tones, and observe body language, said Hannah. Tae's skin flashed with frustrated red. So primitive. So much is missed. Hannah felt her face grow hot. It's not primitive. It's just different. Later that day, they met in the science lab. Captain Lee had asked Hannah to learn more about Lumi biology. Ta had agreed to basic, non-invasive tests. Your body temperature fluctuates more than ours, said Hannah, looking at the scanner results. And your skin conducts electricity differently. Our skin is our main sense organ, said Tai, moving closer to the screen. It feels temperature, pressure, light, and energy fields. As they stood side by side, Hannah noticed Ta was closer than necessary again. Before she could move away, the station shook suddenly. A small tremor, probably from a micrometeorite impact. Hannah lost her balance and fell against Ta. His skin felt strangely smooth and warm. It changed color where she touched it, flashing bright blue. I'm sorry, she said, stepping back quickly. Your touch, Tae's voice, sounded different. It created a strong response in my skin receptors. Was it uncomfortable? Asked Hannah. No, just unexpected. Your bioelectrical field is stronger than I anticipated. That evening, the station crew hosted a small party to welcome the Lumi visitors. Captain Lee thought cultural activities would help build trust. There was music, food, and drinks for the humans. The Lumi brought small glowing orbs that changed colors and floated around the room. Hannah wore her best off-duty clothes. As she entered the recreation room, she saw Ta waiting by the door. His skin glowed with soft blue patterns that seemed to flow like water. You look different, said Ta. Your coverings have changed. These are special clothes for celebrations, Hannah explained. Not our work uniforms. They are pleasing, said Ta, in a way that made Hannah feel strangely seen. During the party, Hannah explained human customs to Ta, why people clinked glasses before drinking, why they moved their bodies to music, why they laughed at certain things. Human joy is very physical, observed Ta. You express happiness with your whole body. How do Lumi show happiness? Asked Hannah. Ta's skin shifted to a bright golden color with swirling patterns. Like this. Each emotion has its own pattern and color. That's beautiful, said Hannah. Like wearing your heart on your skin. Heart. The blood-pumping organ. Ta looked confused. It's an expression. It means showing your feelings openly. As the party continued, more crew members joined them. Jin, the navigation officer, started asking Ta about Lumi space travel. Hannah moved away to get a drink. When she returned, she found Ta surrounded by 4 crew members, all standing much closer than she had ever dared. Ta's skin was flashing with uncomfortable orange patterns. Excuse me, said Hannah, joining the group. I think Ta needs more space. But you said Lumi like closeness, said Jin, confused. They do, but on their terms, said Hannah. Remember, they're highly sensitive to our energy fields. The group stepped back. Ta's skin gradually returned to a calm blue. Thank you, Ta said quietly to Hannah. Their combined energy was overwhelming. Hannah nodded. Cultural exchange goes both ways. We need to respect your needs too. Later, as the party was ending, Hannah stood by the viewing window. Earth was just a tiny blue dot from this distance. Ta joined her, standing at what she now recognized as a respectful distance for a human. You remembered, she said, smiling. I am learning, said Ta. His skin rippled with gentle patterns. Your translator device is crooked, Ta said suddenly, pointing to the small device behind Hannah's ear that helped her understand the Lumi's native language when they used it. Before she could adjust it, Ta reached out. His fingers brushed against the sensitive skin behind her ear and down her neck. Hannah shivered involuntarily, a quick, subtle tremble that ran through her entire body. Ta froze, hand still near her neck. His skin flashed with bright, curious patterns. What was that response? He asked, voice filled with wonder. Hannah stepped back, feeling her cheeks grow warm. Just a reflex. Some parts of human skin are more sensitive than others. But your entire body responded, said Ta. His silver eyes studied her with new interest. Your heart rate increased. Your pupils dilated. It's nothing important, said Hannah quickly. Just an automatic reaction. But Ta's expression told her he didn't believe that. He tilted his head, skin swirling with colors she hadn't seen before. Humans are more complex than our studies suggested, he said finally. I have much to learn. As they left the party, Hannah felt Ta watching her with those reflective eyes. Something had changed between them. A new curiosity had been awakened on both sides. A month had passed since the Lumi arrived at Horizon Station. Hannah and Ta spent more time together each day. What started as official cultural exchange sessions now felt like something more. They sat together in the hydroponics garden, surrounded by green plants and the soft hum of air filters. This had become their favorite meeting place. The plants reminded Ta of home. Tell me more about Lumi poetry, Hannah said. She watched how Ta's skin shifted to a deep purple with silver ripples when he talked about his culture. Our poetry is not spoken or written, Ta explained. It is shown through skin patterns. A poem might take hours to display fully. Can you show me one? Asked Hannah. Ta hesitated. Some are very personal. But I will show you a simple one. His skin began to shift in complex patterns. Colors flowed like water. Blue into green, purple into gold. The patterns moved in rhythm, like waves or heartbeats. Hannah watched, amazed. It's beautiful. What does it mean? It speaks of 2 stars that orbit each other for eternity, Never touching, but always connected, said Ta. His silver eyes reflected her face. Some things need no physical contact to be profound. Hannah felt her heart beat faster. Was he trying to tell her something? Now you must share human poetry, said Ta. Hannah thought for a moment, then recited a short love poem she remembered from school. As she spoke, Ta moved closer, listening intently. Your voice changes when you recite poetry, he said. It becomes musical. Poetry affects us emotionally, Hannah explained. It makes us feel things more deeply. Like how my skin poem affected you, asked Ta. Your pupils dilated and your heart rate increased while watching. Hannah blushed. You can tell that. Yes, human bodies reveal much that humans try to hide. Their daily meetings continued. Tai taught Hannah about Lumi mathematical music. She taught him Korean folk dances. Sometimes their hands would touch briefly during these lessons. Each time, Hannah felt that same shiver, and each time, Ta noticed with growing curiosity. One day, an alarm blared through the station. Red lights flashed in every corridor. Emergency in Sector 5. Captain Lee's voice came over the speakers. Oxygen levels dropping. Hannah and Ta ran to help. When they reached Sector 5, they found chaos. A meteorite had damaged the oxygen recycling system. 3 crew members were trapped inside, and the backup systems were failing. We need to fix the main recycler, said Jin, working frantically at a control panel. But the radiation levels are too high for humans to enter. I can withstand more radiation than humans, said Ta. But I don't know your systems well enough. Hannah made a quick decision. I'll guide you. We'll work together. They set up a communication system. Hannah watched through a window as Tai entered the damaged section. His skin glowed brightly in the emergency lights. The main valve is to your left, Hannah said through the comm. It needs to be turned clockwise. For 3 hours, they worked together. Hannah's knowledge of the station systems and Tay's ability to work in the radiation-filled room. When the final connection was made, the systems came back online. The trapped crew members were rescued, weak but alive. Afterward, Captain Lee gathered everyone in the command center. Today showed what we can accomplish together, he said. Ta, you risked yourself for our crew. We are grateful. Tay's skin glowed with modest blue. Dr. Kim guided me. Without her, I would have failed. That night, Hannah couldn't sleep. The day's events kept replaying in her mind. She went to the observation deck to look at the stars. Ta was already there, his skin glowing softly in the dim light. You couldn't sleep either? Asked Hannah, joining him by the window. Lumi don't sleep like humans, said Ta. We rest in short periods throughout the day. They stood in comfortable silence, watching stars and distant planets. Today was important, said Ta finally. I felt useful to you, connected to you. We make a good team, said Hannah. More than a team, said Ta. His skin swirled with new patterns, deep gold with flowing red currents. I have studied many humans since arriving, but only you make me feel different. Hannah's heart skipped a beat. Different how? Like my skin wants to show patterns I've never displayed before, said Ta. Like I want to be closer than cultural exchange requires. He moved slightly closer to her, not too close. He had learned about human personal space, but close enough that she could feel a strange, pleasant energy coming from his skin. Is this inappropriate? Asked Ta, noticing her reaction. I don't fully understand human relationship protocols. Hannah smiled. Relationships don't always follow protocols, Ta. Not even for humans. The other Lumi have noticed my skin patterns change when I talk about you, said Ta. They say I am too involved in my research subject. Am I just a research subject to you? Asked Hannah. Tay's skin flashed with intense colors. No, you are. I don't have the right word in your language. What word would you use in your language? Ta made a sound Hannah had never heard before, musical and complex. His skin displayed a pattern so beautiful it took her breath away. What does that mean? She whispered. Someone whose energy complements your own, Ta translated. Someone whose presence makes you more than you were alone. He slowly raised his hand, hesitating just above her arm. May I? Hana nodded. Ta gently placed his hand on her arm. The touch sent that now familiar shiver through her body. This time, she didn't pull away or try to hide it. There it is again, said Tai, fascinated. That response. What does it mean, Hana? It means, she said softly, that my body recognizes something my mind is just beginning to understand. Tay's skin glowed brighter. Then we are both learning new things. As they stood together watching the stars, Hana realized that space exploration had brought humanity something unexpected. Not just new knowledge or resources, but new kinds of connections, new possibilities for what it meant to care for someone very different from yourself. 2 months after the Lumi ship arrived at Horizon Station, news of the first contact spread across Earth and its colonies. Leaders from Earth wanted to meet these new aliens. They sent messages asking for formal talks. Captain Lee called Hana to his office one morning. Ta was already there, his skin showing calm blue patterns. Earth is sending a diplomatic team, said Captain Lee. They'll be here in 3 weeks. They want you two to prepare a report on what we've learned about each other. Hana glanced at Ta. What kind of report? Everything, said Captain Lee. Cultural differences, biological information, communication methods. You two have worked together the most. You understand each other. After they left the captain's office, Hana and Ta walked to their special spot in the hydroponics garden. This is a big responsibility, said Hana. What we report will shape how humans and Lumi interact for years to come. Tay's skin rippled with thoughtful green patterns. Yes, we must be careful and honest. They spent the next days creating their report. They worked in the small research lab, surrounded by screens showing data they had collected. Look at these brain scan comparisons, said Hana, pointing to a screen. Humans process emotions in different brain areas than Lumi do. Yet we still feel joy, sadness, fear, and love, said Ta. The path is different, but the destination is the same. Hana smiled. That should be in our report. It's perfect. As they worked, other crew members often came to watch them. Everyone was fascinated by how well Hana and Ta understood each other now. You don't even need to finish your sentences sometimes, said Jin one day. It's like you read each other's minds. Not minds, said Ta. We read bodies, tones, small signals. Hana knows what my skin patterns mean now. I know what her small movements mean. You've created your own language, said Jin. That night, Hana thought about Jin's words. Had they created something new? Not fully human, not fully Lumu, but a bridge between worlds. The next day, they presented their initial findings to the station crew and the other Lumi visitors. They stood side by side in the meeting room. Humans and Lumi are different in many ways, Hana began. Our biology, our communication, our customs. But we found that these differences can complement each other. Ta continued, during the oxygen recycler emergency, human knowledge and Lumi abilities worked together to save lives. Neither could have succeeded alone. As they spoke, taking turns, the room grew quiet. Everyone could see what was happening. A perfect balance between two very different beings. After the presentation, one of the other Lumi approached Ta. They spoke in their own language, skin patterns flashing in a fast conversation. Hana couldn't understand all of it, but she could tell the other Lumi was upset. Later, Tai explained, Nelks thinks I have become too human, that I am losing my Lumi perspective. Have you? Asked Hana. No, said Ta. I have gained a new perspective, not lost my old one. I see us both more clearly now. As the diplomatic visit approached, representatives from other alien species also sent messages. They wanted to join the talks. The Lumi were known to many species, and all were curious about humans. Your emotional responses make you unique, Tai explained. Other species find humans unpredictable but creative. They want to know more. And what do you find most interesting about humans? Hannah asked. Ty was quiet for a moment. His skin shifted to the deep gold color that Hannah now knew meant deep thought or feeling. Your capacity to feel so much, so deeply, and still function, he said. Lumi would be overwhelmed by the emotions you feel every day. One evening, a week before the diplomatic team would arrive, Hannah received a call from Earth. It was the first direct communication since the Lumi arrival. The signal quality was poor, with a 20-minute delay between messages. An important official appeared on screen. Dr. Kim, your work with the alien delegate is remarkable. We want you and Ta to develop a formal communication system between our species, a standard that others can learn. Hannah and Ta spent the next days creating this system. They combined human words with Lumi skin pattern descriptions. They added notes about tone, personal space, and touch taboos for both species. This part about touch is important, said Hannah, typing notes. Humans find certain touches intimate or personal. Like when I touch here, asked Ta, gently placing his fingers on the back of Hannah's hand. A small shiver ran through her, less intense than before, but still noticeable. Yes, she said softly, like that. Tay's skin glowed with warm colors. I've been studying this response in you. It happens most when we are alone, when we talk about personal things, when we are close. Hannah nodded. Words felt difficult suddenly. Other humans don't react this way when I touch them, continued Ta. Jin lets me touch his arm during tests. No shiver. Captain Lee shook my hand yesterday. No shiver. It's different with different people, Hannah tried to explain. Human, Ta said softly, using the word like a name. Why do you shiver when I touch you there? The question hung in the air between them. Hannah looked at Ta's silver eyes, at his skin glowing with patterns she now recognized as hope, curiosity, and something deeper. Because, she said finally, my body recognizes something special, something important. What does it recognize? Asked Ta, his voice almost a whisper. Connection, said Hannah. A connection that goes beyond cultural exchange or scientific interest. Tay's skin flashed with bright, joyful colors. I feel it too. My skin wants to show patterns I've never displayed before. Patterns reserved for. For what? Asked Hannah. For those we choose as life companions, said Ta. My people would not understand. Would yours? Some would, said Hannah. Others would need time. But maybe that's our real job, to help them understand that differences don't have to keep people apart. As the station turned slowly in space, human and alien sat close together, no longer separated by the boundaries of species or custom. They had become something new, a bridge between worlds, showing what was possible when differences became strengths rather than barriers. The diplomatic shuttle from Earth arrived at Horizon Station with great ceremony. Important people in fancy uniforms filed out, looking nervous and excited to meet the Lumi. Reporters sent live videos back to Earth. This was the biggest news in human history. First official contact with alien life. Hannah and Ta stood side by side in the receiving area. They had prepared for weeks for this moment. Their report on human-Lumi relations was ready. Their communication system was tested and working well. But neither had mentioned their personal feelings in any official document. Are you nervous? Ta asked quietly, his skin showing gentle support patterns that only Hannah could read properly. A little, she admitted. Everything will change after today. The Earth diplomat, Director Park, approached them first. He was an older man with a serious face. Dr. Kim, we've read your preliminary reports. Impressive work, he said, then turned to Ta with obvious curiosity. And you must be Ta of the Lumi. An honor to meet you. Tay's skin shifted to formal greeting patterns. The honor is mutual, Director Park. The formal meetings began immediately. Humans and Lumi sat on opposite sides of a long table. Hannah and Tai sat in the middle, translating not just words but meanings and cultural context. The Lumi seek peaceful exchange of knowledge and resources, Tai explained after a long statement from the Lumi leader. Director Park nodded. Humans want the same, but we need to establish clear boundaries and agreements. As the talks continued, Hannah noticed how often the humans and Lumi misunderstood each other. Simple concepts became confused. Intentions were questioned. Without her and Ta to explain, the meeting would have failed completely. During a break, Director Park pulled Hannah aside. How do you understand them so well? He asked. These aliens are completely different from us. They're different, yes, said Hannah, but not completely. We feel the same emotions, just express them differently. We want the same basic things: safety, purpose, connection. Director Park looked at her strangely. You speak as if you know them personally. I know Ta, said Hannah simply. When the talks resumed, the discussion turned to future collaboration. Where would humans and Lumi work together? How would they share knowledge? We propose a joint research center, said Director Park, a place where humans and Lumi can study together. The Lumi leader's skin showed cautious interest. Where would this center be located? Perhaps here at Horizon Station, suggested Director Park. It's already a meeting point between our worlds. Later that evening, after the formal talks ended, Hannah found Ta in their special spot in the hydroponics garden. His skin was swirling with complex patterns. You're troubled, Hannah said, sitting beside him. The other Lumi think I have become too attached to humans. To you, Ta said. They say I cannot represent our interests fairly anymore. Hannah felt a cold weight in her stomach. What will happen? They want to send me home and bring a new representative, said Ta. His skin darkened with sad colors. No, said Hannah firmly. You're the bridge between our people. No one else understands humans like you do. They sat in silence for a long moment, surrounded by the gentle sounds of growing things. I need to show them, said Ta finally. Show them what I've learned, what we've created together. The next day, during the most important meeting, Tai asked to speak. Everyone grew quiet. His skin began to glow with special patterns Hannah had never seen before. Complex, beautiful, and powerful. Humans and Lumi are different, Ta began. But difference is not a wall. It is a door. He explained how humans' strong emotions, which seemed chaotic to Lumi, gave them creativity and resilience. How Lumi's careful, measured approach provided stability and wisdom. Together, we are more than either alone, he said. Dr. Kim and I have proven this. We have created something new between us, understanding that transforms both sides without diminishing either. As he spoke, his skin displayed the patterns that told his story. The Lumi in the room watched with growing amazement. Is this true? The Lumi leader asked Hannah. Has he really found this balance? Yes, said Hannah. We both have. She stood and moved beside Ta. What Ta and I have learned cannot be put into reports or taught in classes. It must be experienced. That's why we propose something new. Everyone listened as Hannah explained their idea, a cultural bridge program where humans and Lumi would work together in pairs, learning from each other as she and Ta had done. Not just scientists studying each other, she said, but people connecting with people. People? Asked the Lumi leader. You consider us people like yourselves? Yes, said Hannah without hesitation. Different in form, but the same in value. The room was silent for a long moment. Then Director Park stood up. I support this program, he said, and I propose that Dr. Kim and Tai lead it. 1 year later, the new Interspecies Cultural Institute opened in the expanded Horizon Station. 20 human Lumi pairs began working together, with Hannah and Tai as their guides. Other alien species soon joined the institute. They all wanted to learn the method that had built such strong connections between humans and Lumi. On the evening of the official opening, Hannah and Ta stood in the new observation dome, watching stars and distant planets through the clear ceiling. Did you ever think this would happen? Asked Hannah. When your ship first arrived. Never, said Ta. His skin glowed with the special pattern that Hannah now knew was just for her. I came to study humans. I didn't expect to find. Find what? Asked Hannah softly. Tay reached out and gently touched her hand. She shivered, just as she had that first time. That, said Ta, his silver eyes reflecting the starlight. That response that changed everything. Hannah smiled. Some mysteries take time to understand. And some are worth the journey, said Ta. As they stood together watching the universe spread out before them, human and Lumi, different in form, but connected in spirit, they knew they had built something rare and precious, a bridge between worlds that would last long after they were gone. Around them, the stars turned slowly in the vast darkness, no longer separating worlds but connecting them, one understanding at a time.